Hey guys, Mighty Gazelle here to review the season 2 of My Hero Academia. A lot of you guys were asking whether or not I'd be doing a review for season 2, and I definitely want to, so here I am. Similar to how I did a review for Samurai Jack when the season ended. This is going to be a very casual review. This isn't a super in-depth analytical review that a lot of people have already done. If you want one of those, I suggest going somewhere else. This is just from a fan. Just relax, just sit back, and I ramble on about what I thought about Season 2. But before I begin with Season 2, I'm going to talk very quickly here about Season 1. I didn't actually review Season 1, but since I did cover it, like I did my reactions for the season, I felt like it's only fitting that I go back and talk briefly about what that season did in preparation for Season 2. Season 1... only 12 episodes. A little bit of backstory as to how I found out about this show. I was binge watching One Piece at the time, and I had watched like 100-something episodes of One Piece, and I was just kind of burnt out for a little bit. And I was like, okay, let's see what else Funimation has that I can sort of watch in the meantime while I kind of take a break from One Piece. And I'm not going to say I'm ahead of the curve here, because I don't know how popular the manga was before I got adapted to anime. But I saw My Hero, like literally the week it was posted on Funimation. It was a brand new show at the time. And I was like, oh, this looks interesting. So I checked it out. I watched it, and before I knew it, I had binge watched the entire 12-episode season. I fell in love with the characters, the art style. Oh my god, it's like drugs for the eyes. Anyway, but it was super entertaining to me, and I just fell in love with the world instantly. But being 12 episodes, it can only really focus on basically three characters, being Deku, All Might, and Bakugo to some extent. And that makes sense. If you're only going to have 12 episodes, focus on the main characters and flesh them out and sort of set up this universe that you've created. So when Season 2 got announced, when I was super hyped for it, by the way, there was a lot of things that me and obviously fellow fans wanted to see from it, and people who hadn't read the manga. I still haven't read the manga. We wanted to see more development for Deku. We wanted to see this world flesh out, and we wanted to see where his story progressed him. Not only did we get that for Season 2, we also got quite a few surprises. And what I mean by that, and when I say surprises, I'm again saying, if you haven't read the manga, if you're only watching the anime, like me and so many others have. When I say surprises, I mean characters that were sort of just glanced over in Season 1, just kind of brought up, not really super in-depth about them in Season 1. They got to the spotlight in Season 2, and in a good way. We got progression with Deku and All Might and Bakugo, sure, definitely. I'll talk about them later. But Todoroki, Ida, Momo, of all people, these people that were just sort of glanced over in the first season, we got a lot of depth about them. And not only did we get depth about them and backstory, but it was extremely well done. I'm going to talk about everything not involving the main character for right now. Then I'll branch off into what I thought about everything else. So we'll start off the season with the UA Sports Festival, and let me just say I'm a sucker for like tournament style stuff that happens in anime. I always find them super interesting. I always pick someone that I root for at the beginning of the tournament, and then I'm like, you win this fight. Like, I'm rooting for them like in spirit. And it was, gosh, this show is so beautiful. Like from the get-go, you could, like, Season 1 looked great. But when the UA Sports Festival started, visually the characters are it's even crisper how they're drawn. The art style in this show is one of the two main things I love about the show, the other being the characters. And we get this setup where Todoroki starts to sort of show himself to be one of the main characters in this show. And we start to learn about his past, about how he was abused as a kid, how his father's kind of a scumbag, how his mother's been in a hospital this whole time for like mental issues. And I'm not going to cover literally everything they did in the whole show, but let me just say that the way they handle Todoroki and how Izuku managed to help bring him out of this rut that he was in, it's so beautifully done. And then the culmination of the fight with not only the fight being resolved between them, but just Todoroki accepting like what he has as his own. So well done. And then later on in the story, or later on in the season, we get some background for Ida. We see him normally as this sort of stuck up, strict by the rules kind of guy. Good guy, very, very kind, but just sort of you follow the rules like or else kind of guy. And then we learn that his inspiration growing up was his brother, and we get a very touching backstory about that. And when we find out that his brother was paralyzed from the waist down by the hero killer stain, and we see Ida, who's so normally by the book kind of guy, sort of lose his shit, so to speak, and go after this hero killer with the intent to basically destroy him, regardless of his own safety or the safety of others. And again, we get Deku showing up, and not only, well, it's not just Deku, Todoroki helped too, but basically they sort of help him realize the error of his ways, and they band together and fight Hero Killer Stain. And that was a really, really great fight, by the way. Hero Killer Stain is such an interesting character. What he brought to this season was such a unique sort of... It gave the villain, not just him, but the villains in general, an ideology to go by, which is sort of focused on later in the season as a whole. But basically he says that heroes now are sort of only doing it for fame and for fortune. They're not really doing it just to help people. And he says with the exception of All Might, and that's why he says All Might's the only one who's allowed to kill him, because All Might is a true hero. And so he goes around killing all these fake heroes, and that's why he attacked Ida's older brother. Not saying Ida was a bad guy, but Hero Killer perceived him to be a false hero. So Ida moves on from that, and he grows as a person, and he's able to overcome this sort of tragic thing that happened in his life. Like they're still reeling from these things that have happened to them. Like Todoroki and Ida, they're both still kind of hurt by their past, but they're starting to move on and grow. And the last character that sort of got a lot of spotlight, we also got some from Sue from Froppy. It was sort of a little adventure on her own, which is really cool. I'm not going to go too in depth about that because it wasn't super like character moving. I don't want to make anyone mad, but like nothing really crazy happened there. It was just a really fun like side adventure. I mentioned this was a casual review, so I'm sorry if I'm all over the place here, guys. So yeah, Momo, in the sports festival, she lost some confidence in herself. She lost in her fight very, very quickly, and she just sort of doubted her abilities as a hero. And she gets paired with Todoroki in their fight against Mr. Ozawa in the, what are they called, exams? It's not physical exams, is it? Anyway, it's like the final sort of test they have for the semester. And basically, she kicks ass, and with the help of Todoroki, she sort of raises her confidence in herself as she helps Todoroki fight back Ozawa. And it's this sort of cool moment for her, because you don't even think she's like a main character. And she's still only like a main / side character. She's not like, the story isn't focused on her. The story is much more focused on Bakugo, Todoroki, Deku, like sort of that main cast. But she's like right on the perimeter of that, which is really cool. I like how they do that. And I really hope in Season 3 we get even more of the classmates. Like Mina would be awesome. We even got some from Mineta this season. So yeah, those are the 3 characters I was really surprised by in terms of the character development. And then let's focus on the main sort of cast now, being All Might, Deku, Bakugo, and sort of where their purpose lied in this season. Basically, Deku, of course, is starting to develop his powers more. All Might's expecting more of him right off the bat, and he puts a lot of weight on Deku's shoulders for the UA Sports Festival, and he does very well. He shows up and he shows his powers very well. He doesn't win, but basically All Might realizes that he put a little bit too much pressure on Deku. And Deku, he's handling this so well. He is such a unique character in that he's, not only is he kind, but he's incredibly smart. Have you seen him analyze a situation? He perceives everything that's going on at any given moment and processes it and tries to find the best solution not only for himself, but for others around him. And I find that very, very awesome. And then Todoroki, not Todoroki, Bakugo, my favorite character of the show. People hate him. I don't know. Like, I get why, but I mean, I love him. He has sort of an inferiority complex, as well as I feel like a hint of jealousy for what Deku's become. And in the first season, he was kind of whiny in the sense that, like, he was like, I'm powerful. I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the big hero. And in this one, he still says that. Like, he goes up on stage and says, I'm gonna beat all of you, and like in front of the whole stadium. But he didn't say it immaturely. He said it with confidence in himself, and he said it as a sort of a statement to everyone around him. Even Deku at the time says, like, this is him pushing himself. He's not kidding around. And yeah, he still lets his anger get to him, but really he's just trying to push himself to prove to himself that he can become this hero. And we'll talk about Bakugo again a little bit later. So then we go throughout the whole series, the whole season anyway. Deku gets his powers, the like full cowling or whatever it's called, where he can use like 5% of his all for one or one for all ability, and it sort of makes him sort of a powered up version where he can move faster, punch harder without breaking his arms or legs and stuff like that. So that's with Gran Torino training and whatnot. And then we get toward the end of the season. I'm sorry if I'm missing stuff. Again, this is I didn't take any notes. I don't have any notes in front of me. This is just sitting down, talking about what I feel about the season. And then toward the end of the season, we finally get some sort of really any semblance from the villains. And we got some with the hero killer stuff in the middle, but really this season was fairly light on the villain stuff. It focused more on the students, which I'm perfectly okay with because they did it very well. I'll talk about that more in my finishing thoughts. But basically, the last episode had Shigaraki sort of appear and talk to Deku, and sort of Shigaraki is a character that a lot of people aren't very happy with how he's being handled in the anime. I personally kind of agreed with it until this last episode. I like how it sort of gave him a direction as a villain to go forward. And originally Shigaraki was kind of making fun of Hero Killer Stain's ideology and how he handled things. But even at the end, he's like, I'm going to use your silly method and silly ideals as a stepping stone to make myself stronger. It's basically saying, I don't agree with your ideals completely, but I'm going to use that as sort of a motivation for myself because I know it's going to make me stronger. Again, haven't read the manga, so if I sound like an idiot for anyone out there who's like an expert and stuff like that, apologize. I can only speak as a guy who watches the anime. Basically, Deku says that Stain doesn't just kill for the sake of killing. He has ideals that he doesn't back down from no matter what. And he said, Shigaraki, you like back down when you faced adversity at the USJ attack, and you lack like conviction and stuff like that. And yeah, it basically ends right there. Like not the season entirely, but at the very end we get a little bit of hint as to what All For One's doing, and All For One's monitoring the situation of Shigaraki. And so we end the season with Deku still growing. We end with Todoroki rekindling his relationship with his mother, which was awesome. That was super sweet. I loved that image at the end. We have Ida still visiting his brother in the hospital. I'm sure he's going to talk to his brother about everything that went down. I'm sure that would be a very cool conversation to see. And then everyone's getting ready for a sort of vacation / training session in the woods, which I'm looking forward to. I think it'd be a lot of fun to see everyone sort of evolve their powers and quirks even more and get stronger. So, in closing thoughts, My Hero Academia Season 2 was incredible. 10 out of 10 for two reasons alone. The characters are so well written and so well brought to life. It makes every character a true joy. People ask me all the time what my least favorite characters are, or what my favorite characters are. I can tell you my favorites easily. That being, okay, I'll go ahead and tell you. Mr. Ozawa, okay, in no particular order, here's my top 5. I can't really order them right now. Mr. Ozawa, Bakugo. I think Bakugo is my favorite, but other than that, these are all out of order. Mr. Ozawa, Bakugo, All Might, Todoroki, Mina, and then wait, did I say All Might? Okay, let me go back. Bakugo, Mr. Ozawa, All Might, Todoroki, and let's go with Deku. All those characters are fantastic, and even Mineta. I give Mineta shit for being a pervert and being kind of annoying, but I generally do enjoy watching him. I like to make fun of him, you know? I don't hate the guy. I just think it's funny to make fun of the guy who's being a pervert. That's about it. I do think that every character in this show truly belongs to be there. And whoever wrote the manga, I know there's people, I can't think of the author who wrote the manga. He did such a good job writing these characters. And Studio Bones, like, hats off to you. I don't have a hat to take off, but you have done a great job bringing it to life. And then the second part, the reason I think the show is so good, the animation. The animation is so beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. You guys have been watching my reactions. I can only show you guys like a little bit in the corner. So you guys get like a condensed, like, small corner with a cloud around it, and that's for copyright reasons. But if you get a chance, watch this show like on Funimation, or if you can like get it on Blu-ray or something, because this show is simply beautiful to behold. Like, it looks almost like a comic book brought to life, and it's so well done. I feel like I've been repeating myself this whole review, and this is not a professional review. This is just a guy talking about a show that he really, really likes, and this is my favorite anime at the moment. I love this show so much. So much so that I'm probably actually going to start reading the manga. I can't read Japanese, so I can't go that far ahead, but I can start reading, like, probably the stuff that'll cover season 3 at least. I'll let you guys know when I start getting into that. If you guys want to hear about that, that'd be kind of fun to talk about. But yeah, 10 out of 10 season. I have no idea what the hell I've been saying for the past 17 minutes. Just basically a guy saying that, go watch this show. This show is amazing. Again, thank you guys for watching. Not just this episode, but for all the episodes of My Hero that I did Watch with Mighty sessions of. And yeah, season 3 can't come soon enough. Can't wait. It should be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'll just end here. Hope you guys enjoyed this casual fan perspective review. Let me know what you guys thought about the season down below. I want to hear your thoughts as well. That's part of this. That's part of the deal here. I share my thoughts. You share yours. I want to hear them. Yeah. Until next time, this has been Mighty Gazelle, hoping you all have a mighty day. See you guys.